welcome to Zambia Today. I'm your host, Faith Katai. And our focus for today is on Public Service Agricultural Asset Plus Loan Facility. As you are aware, that during the 95th Agriculture and Commercial Show on 5th August 2023, President Hakainde Hichilema announced the introduction of a loan facility to enable public service workers acquire agricultural equipment and inputs. The President's vision is to see public service workers engage in agricultural activities by employing some farm workers, thereby contributing to job creation, household and national food security, intend to sustain the country's gross domestic product. Therefore, to help us discuss on the Psmfc Enhanced Public Service Agriculture Asset Plus Loan, I have with me in the studio Mr. Sidney Silonde, Acting Chief Executive Officer at Public Service Microfinance Company. Welcome to the interview, sir.
Thank you very much, Faith. We really appreciate this opportunity to be able to share information about the Public Service Agricultural Asset Loan Scheme with the nation at large and the public service workers in particular.
To start with, I would like you to explain to us what is Public Service Microfinance all about and why was the company established?
Thank you so much, Faith. Public Service Microfinance Company is a company wholly owned by the government of the Republic of Zambia. The shareholding, we are a limited company registered under the Companies Act. The shareholding, like any parastatal, is we have the Minister of Finance and the Secretary to the Treasury who hold the shares on behalf of the Republic. The company was established in 2013 with a mandate to provide affordable loans and other innovative financial solutions to public service workers for improved livelihood. So far in 2013, we started off with one product, but over the last 10, now this is our 11th year, we've innovated and developed so many other products. We have a total of 7 products which are available to public service workers.
Okay, so following the President's directives of introducing a loan scheme, agricultural loan scheme for public service workers, are you able to explain what is this enhanced agricultural public service asset plus loan all about?
Yeah, indeed. You know, this enhanced agricultural asset plus product is very exciting. Before the pronouncement by His Excellency the President, we used to offer this product at 18% per annum. And in terms of the products that were available on the scheme, they were limited. And some public service workers within public service were excluded, like the defense. But following that pronouncement by His Excellency the President, the interest applicable has been reduced from 18 to 9%, which is really a big jump. And that reduction is intended to encourage public service workers to come on board and participate in agriculture. And the 9% also affords even those public service workers whose pay slips were not very good, but now, because of the reduced interest, they are now able to access some products. The other exciting part that came with the presidential pronouncement is the inclusion of the defense forces amongst eligible public service workers. Before that pronouncement, our colleagues in uniform were excluded. And Faith, I'll tell you, it was a very difficult time for us because you'd be at the agricultural show or you'd be at the trade fair or indeed any other place where I would be exhibiting our products as public service microfinance. And then you see this person in uniform walking towards you, and then you tell them you are not eligible. So the question was always, why am I not eligible? Am I not a public service worker? It was really a very difficult question. But now that is a thing of the past. Following the presidential directive, they are now eligible. We are now free to go into their cantonments to even advertise our products. The other enhancement that came with the presidential pronouncement is the financing of livestock. Prior to that pronouncement, we were not financing livestock. We were only financing equipment. But with that pronouncement, now we finance livestock. We're talking about cattle, chicks. So those who would like to have a chicken run, even, up whatever number you want, we finance chicks, we finance chicken feed. Let me just say all stock feed. We finance the layers, we finance fish farming. So indeed, so those are the enhancements which have been done to the product.
Okay, that's great. So as Psmfc, are there any stakeholders that you have partnered with in terms of provision of agricultural equipment, livestock, and imports?
Yes, indeed. Us, as Public Service Microfinance, Faith, we are a financial institution. So the product that we sell is money. Yeah. So to be able to actualize, this product, we have signed on so many partners who provide agricultural equipment. So if you look at all the dealers in Zambia who deal in agricultural equipment like tractors, and supporting implements, inputs, feeds, and so on and so forth, all those are actually on our scheme. So yeah, so they are on our scheme. So the public service worker goes to them, and then we provide the financing.
So how's been the response by the civil servants, and how many have accessed this loan?
The response has been overwhelming. I'll be very honest with you. September 2023 up to now, our teams at the office have been working overtime throughout. So you find that because of the overwhelming response, you have our teams with so many applications coming from all over the country. And then for us to cope, you have teams working long after 17 hours, and even over the weekends, you find you have to be at the office to be able to cope up with the demand. So far, we've paid 110 million to just 1,400 public service workers throughout the country.
So how has been the percentage of gender distribution? Are we seeing more women coming on board, or men are the ones who are overtaking the women? Yeah,
in terms of the distribution, I was just looking at the statistics yesterday, and I look at these statistics all the time. The women folk, they are still lagging behind. If you look at the distribution, out of the 110 million, the women are accounting for about 30%. 70% is for the men folk. But I expect going forward, I think the uptake to change. I'll take you to the statistics. If you look at PEMIC payroll, there are actually slightly more women than men. Yeah. So I expect as we go forward in 2024 and going forward, I expect the statistics to start reflecting, the sort of information that we have on our payroll. That we hope to have 50-50, because women are the ones who look after the nation. Indeed. That's
great. So in terms of the 300 million that was allocated by the Treasury, so as Psmfc, how much has been paid off to the civil servants?
Like I've said, Faith, 110 million has been paid to public service workers. And that is only, we're talking about, that presidential directive was in August, and I'm talking about the period of September to now. So we've paid that much money. So we expect going forward the uptake to continue. The influx that we saw after the presidential pronouncement, we expect it to continue, because if you look at our product offering, we're actually encouraging agriculture, not only rain-fed, but we're actually encouraging agriculture throughout the year. So part of what we finance includes the irrigation equipment, all types of pumps, all types of irrigation, be it drip, be it sprinklers, we finance all that. So we are encouraging agriculture throughout the year. So we expect the uptake to continue throughout the year.
Okay, so this loan scheme, do you think it has benefited civil servants? And also, before you give out these loans, are you able to train the civil servants on the best agricultural practices that they need to have?
Indeed, as public service microfinance, we are a financing institution, but we've partnered with the experts. Our expertise is in managing the money. Yeah, so we've partnered with the experts in agriculture. So I'll give you an example. If a public service worker acquires a tractor, the dealer will train the public service worker on how to operate the tractor, and on how to maintain it, even the service intervals and all that. Even the supporting implements, be it a plow, be it a disc harrow, the dealer actually teaches the public service worker on how to maintain, to ensure maximum benefit. In terms of inputs, if you look at companies that supply fertilizers, they have agronomists within their ranks. Now, those are the experts in what type of fertilizer is required in what region. So that information is given to public service workers. Even in terms of when a public service worker goes to a dealer to get seed, they will be advised that in this region where you are, you can plant early maturing. In this area, you can actually afford late maturing varieties, depending on the part of the country that they are coming from.
That's wonderful. So do we have any success stories of beneficiaries that have been funded through this loan scheme?
Indeed, it's really exciting to see lives being changed. Yeah, there is we have a lady, and what is so exciting about this is that this is an ordinary civil servant. And what I mean by ordinary civil servant, she's not a senior person in the hierarchy of the public service, where people start thinking this product is just for bosses. This is a nurse based at Palavana Health Center, an ordinary civil servant who was able to acquire a tractor and plow, and she was also able to acquire the inputs, fertilizers and seed that she needed for the 2023-2024 agricultural season. So it's really exciting to see that ordinary civil servants are able to get this. There are other success stories. There's a couple in Western Province. They acquired the tractor jointly. That is, they put money together. So the wife brought her payslip and husband, and we calculated, and they acquired equipment together as a couple. And that's another success story, because when you go and visit them there, you see how much they are doing in the Barose Plains there.
Wow. Now let's watch a clip for one of the beneficiaries. Let's take a look.
My name is Matron Pasela. I'm Mrs. Hamonga. I'm a nurse by profession. I work at the local clinic just here in Paravana. I got this tractor from Public Service Microfinance Company as a loan. It has really helped me and my family at large. If you can look this side, there is maize which we planted. We plowed using the same tractor the day it arrived. When we were setting the plow, that's when we plowed this field you are seeing behind me. And also, we plowed at the farm. Though the farm is somewhere in Chisamba, we plowed there about 5 hectares. I'm encouraging my fellow civil servants to go for public service microfinance, because if you start early doing farming as well as you are working, you do farming at the same time, it will help you when you stop working. Yeah, that's what I thought myself to do this before I retire, so that when I retire, it won't be a problem for me to start my life. Yes. So for my fellow civil servants, let them go to public service microfinance. They will be assisted in any way they want as far as agriculture is concerned.
Welcome back. Wow, we have seen there that people are actually benefiting from this loan. This is Zambia Today, and we are focusing on the implementation of Public Service Agricultural Asset Plus Loan Facility, and our guest is Mr. Sydney Silwonde. So coming back to our interview, Mr. Silwonde, what measures, are there any measures put in place to ensure that public service workers, when they access this loan, they use it for in the intended purpose?
Thank you, Faith, for that question. So what we do is, under this scheme, we do not give you cash. This is an empowerment loan. And from experience, remember, I said this institution was created in 2013. So from our experience, we realized that somebody will apply for a loan and give you a reason for the loan. But when you give them the money, maybe only 10% of the money will go to the actual reason they give. The 90% is used on other things. So to make sure that this is a production-oriented loan and it is done, it goes to the intended purpose, we actually pay the dealer. So the procedure is that the public service worker comes to public service microfinance company in person, or they can send a pay slip on our, on our platforms. Then we'll assess and advise them how much they qualify for. Based on the amount that we advise that they qualify for, then they go to the dealer to get a quotation that is within that value. When we then the public service worker submits that quotation to us together with the application form. We process the application and pay the dealer. Then the public service worker will go and collect the equipment or indeed the seed. By doing that, we actually make sure that the money goes to the intended purpose.
Okay, so in terms of the requirements, are there any requirements for one to access this loan? What do they need to present to your office?
So what they need to, as a first step, is they need to present the pay slip to us. We need to confirm that they are indeed employed in the public service, either mainstream government or a quasi-government institution that has an MOU with us. So we look at the pay slip, and then if you look at the other requirements, we need the employer to confirm in writing that this is an employee, a bona fide employee of this institution, and then based on that, they're good to go. Most importantly is their earnings. Their pay slip, the debt service ratio should be, the net pay should be not less than 40% of their basic. As long as their net pay is above 40% of their basic, we are good to go.
Okay. Are there any considerations in a case where a public service worker, a public service worker has a loan running with other financial institutions? So like your company, are they able to refinance the loan?
At the moment, we only refinance our own loans. Like I mentioned, we've got other products that we have. So let's say a public service worker would like to acquire agricultural equipment, but they have another loan with us that is running, which is making them not, get the amount of loan that they need for agriculture. We're able to pay off, to refinance our own loan. From other institutions, for the time being, we do not. Yeah, and then in terms of financing options, yeah. So when we look at your pay slip, based on the 40% of basic threshold, we advise you what you qualify for. The second option, we call it co-financing. This is where you want to get, let's say, agricultural equipment worth 200,000 kwacha, but you only qualify for 150. You are allowed to bring the difference. We put together and acquire that equipment that you need. The third option, we call it joint financing. Under this joint financing, we allow up to 4 public service workers coming together to acquire one or a set of equipment. Yeah, like I talked about the couple in Western Province. Yeah, so what happened was we looked at the pay slip for the wife and looked at the pay slip for the husband, and told them what they qualified for as individuals. And then as a couple, they are entitled, they are now to get equipment worth the sum of the two. But the exciting part here is we actually allow up to 4 people who are not related in any way. They don't necessarily need to be, a couple. It could be just colleagues working. They could be both working in Zanis, or one could be in Zanis, one in others in other qualifying institutions. You are allowed to bring your 4 pay slips together. We assess it as individuals, and then the 4 of you are now entitled to this big amount. So as a group now you can get, this big tractor and so many other implements that you can use as a group. Because this, we believe it's in the spirit of encouraging, sort of a cooperative at that level. Yeah. And His Excellency, the President, has always talked about the power that lies in cooperating. Yeah. So as public service microfinance, we actually do have this facility. I must say it's sad that we have so far not financed any such group. I don't understand why. Maybe it's just our attitude. We don't want to work together. But I would encourage public service workers to join hands and come and get this facility and work together.
Awesome. So how do you intend to mitigate the agricultural risks such as climate change, livestock mortality, and also equipment becoming obsolete?
Indeed. We actually take out insurance. Insurance is at 2 levels. First, all our products has credit life. So that protects the public service worker. In the event of death, all we need to receive the proof of death. We submit to insurance, and insurance will pay off the loan. We will not go to the estate to go and demand money from there. And then the second part of the insurance is where we actually insure the asset. Yeah. So in the event of failure of the asset, in the event of an accident, the asset again is covered by insurance. We are talking to insurance to now introduce insurance for crops. Because you see, even as we are doing agriculture, at the beginning of the season, we anticipate a rain pattern to be in a certain way. But due to climate change and all that, things may not work out as we anticipated. So in case of crop failure due to natural disaster, again that insurance is coming on board. So the public service worker is protected at all times.
Okay, so we are coming to the end of the interview, Mr. Silwonde. What are your closing remarks?
Thank you so much, Faith. My closing remarks is basically just to encourage public service workers to come and access agricultural asset products. This is a very exciting product. It's a life-changing product. If you look at the product range offered, we actually offer everything on the agricultural value chain, starting from the equipment that you need to prepare your land, agro inputs, equipment that you need to manage the crop off-season, like irrigation. We have all pumps, all types of irrigation equipment, be it powered by electricity, solar, or even diesel or petrol. That is all available up to the end of the value chain. Those people who who are really enterprising, they want to participate at the end of the agricultural value chain. We actually do finance butchery equipment, for example. If you want to set up a butchery, all you need is to find a room and then come to Public Service Microfinance. We'll give you a list of our partners who finance butchery equipment. You get that butchery equipment, take it to where it will be. So here for butchery equipment, we're talking about everything. Butcher boys, sausage making machines, mincers, the displays where you display your meats, the cold room to keep the meats cold. All that is available. For those who like to do bakery, we have partners who supply bakery equipment, and we finance bakery equipment because we believe that's part of agriculture. That's at the end of the agricultural, because the idea of the agricultural value chain is really to eat. Yeah, so at the end of the agricultural value chain, we're bringing now food to the table. So we finance even bakery equipment. So if you want to set up a bakery, what you need to do is find a room and come to us. We'll finance all the bakery equipment that you need. The dough mixers, the ovens to bake, you know, the displays. So basically, it's life-changing because we are actually now, throughout the value chain, it's business at every level. It's business at every level. And so we want to see public service workers owning butcheries. We want to see public service workers owning bakeries. And us as public service workers, we should go to those bakeries and support ourselves. Public service is quite big. So if we identify ourselves, one of us starts a butchery or a bakery, and we all start going there, then there will be growth in that individual and the nation at large.
Awesome. Mr. Siluonde, thank you so much for coming to the studio for this interview.
I'm most grateful. It's really been a privilege to give us this opportunity to share information with the public service workers. Thank you so much.
Viewers, we have come to the end of Zambia Today. We featured the Acting Chief Executive Officer for Public Service Microfinance Company, Mr. Sidney Siluonde, giving us some green light on the implementation of the Enhanced Public Service Agriculture Asset Plus Loan aimed at job creation, household and national food security for sustainability of the country's gross domestic product. And on behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Faith Katai, saying pleasant viewing.